Ladies and gentlemen, in order to be successful for today, you need to have your whiteboard, your focus, and your study guide ready to go. Please, on your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the first stage of memory? Information is taken and put inside of your what? It lasts for 1 second. It lasts for 1 second in this storage. What is it? So far, I have one correct answer. If your answer is short-term memory, you're completely wrong. What is it, Corinne? Sensory memory. What moves information from sensory memory into your short-term or working memory? No. Good. Come on, I got 4, 5, 6. What is it, Jaden? Selective attention is what takes things from your sensory memory and moves it into your short-term memory. Short-term memory has a nickname. Short-term memory is also known as what? By the way, I'm looking on the front of your focus, by the way, at that chart that we drew. It's also known as what, Curtis? Working memory. Ladies and gentlemen, when you have something in your short-term memory, how many items can you hold? There's a whole little formula for it. You should have, good, I got one person's got it right. 2 people have it right. 3, what is it? Caroline? 7 plus or minus 2 is how many items your short-term memory can hold. While you're doing your vocab, you keep saying the same name over and over again. What's a fancy term for repeating yourself to try to help you get it into your memory? Okay? If it's trying to get it into your memory, it's called what, Emily? Maintenance rehearsal. Every time you do maintenance rehearsal, you're hoping the memory is getting what? So that way you can put it in your long-term memory and then withdraw it. No. I got 1. No. No. I got 1, 2, 3. Annalise. Encoded, ladies and gentlemen. Encoded is when you do maintenance rehearsal over and over enough and it moves from your short-term memory into your long-term memory. It is the encoding that allows you to pull things out of your long-term memory. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the official term for getting things out of your memory called? I got 1. This is like your thing, man. You're good at this. Your peers, not so much, but you are good. What is it, Ian? Retrieval. What is it called when you put something into your long-term memory? Like whoever your first kiss was. That is going to be, and what is that term, Jalissa? Storage. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is a visual memory called? What, Sophia?
What is
Consolidation is just when you are stripped down memories into what the basic form is. Like, do you remember, if I asked you about the Mongols, would you remember everything I tell you about the Mongols or just a couple parts? There you go, that's consolidation. Okay, what is a visual memory called, Emerson? Iconic. On your whiteboard, what do we call an auditory memory? Camden. Echoic. On your whiteboard, please tell me, your iconic and your echoic are all what type of memories? Good, Nina. Sensory. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is, on your whiteboard, what is it called when we break information into small, manageable parts? Good. What is it? Madison. Chunking. On your whiteboard, what is it called when you say information over and over again? Okay, like for instance, today I need 2 pounds of ground beef and I need 1.5 pounds of chicken breast at the store. And I have said that to myself 10 million times so I don't forget. What is that called, Sydney? Rehearsal. Maintenance rehearsal, rehearsal. On your whiteboard, please tell me, What is it called when you add information to something to help you remember it? Like, for instance, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. No. I got 2 correct answers so far. The answer is what, Annie? Elaborative rehearsal. All right, we'll start there, ladies and gentlemen. Hi. In case you haven't noticed, memory is really awful. Can we agree? There's a lot going on. There's a lot of content. We're hustling hard. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, elaborative rehearsal. Elaborative rehearsal is a method of transferring information from short-term to long-term memory to make it meaningful in some way. You add information to it. In your long-term box, I would put elaborative rehearsal. In your long-term box, I would write elaborative rehearsal. It means you add information to help you retain it. Like, for instance, in AP World, 1492 is a very big year for 2 major reasons. A, Columbus. B, it's the end of the Great Conquista in Spain. So, we sing a little song to remember 1492. Who can sing me the song? Kelly? No. 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. What a courageous thing to do. And there's a whole other part, but you don't need to know that. Okay, so elaborative rehearsal is when you add information. It's also on the back of your focus, by the way. When you add information in. So, we sing a little song about 1492 in order to help us remember the date. Okay, so let's talk memories, ladies and gentlemen. The first one is going to be a procedural memory. Procedural memory is on the bottom of the 2nd page of your study guide. A procedural memory is a long-term memory including memories for skills, procedures, and habits and conditioned responses. These memories are not conscious but are implied to exist because they affect conscious behavior. Implied means you just do it. What would be a procedural skill you just do and you don't have to think about anymore? Come on, with a hand. What is the implied one? Corinne? Walking. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're not like, Wojski Brewski. Left foot. Right foot. Left foot. Right foot. Hopefully you can walk and think at the same time. When you were learning how to walk, was it easy or hard? Hard. Look at little kids. Do you think they're full of grace? No. Okay? If you get into a really bad car accident, you have to learn to re-walk. It is very hard as well. What's another thing we can do procedurally? Annalise? Writing. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're writing down, are you thinking, okay, to make an A, you go up, you go down, you crossed it. To make a T, you go up, and then you cross it. No. You're thinking of whole words and writing down quickly, correct? You're literally thinking about the actual words and not how to spell the words, how to shape the letters to those words. That is procedural. Hopefully none of you are really thinking, all right, pull my laces tight. One goes through the rabbit hole, pull the ear, tie it, and done. Okay? How many of you have to really think about tying your shoes in 2019? Good. So glad. Okay? You should also not have to think about brushing your teeth at this point. Can we agree? You should be thinking, you should be singing, what's the song you're supposed to sing? What is it? The alphabet. Yeah, you're supposed to sing the alphabet twice or something. Okay?
I think that's washing your hands.
No, washing your hands is happy birthday.
There we go. So, procedural. Ladies and gentlemen, you should have written down a couple of those examples. Okay? You need to know it is done without thinking once it's learned. It's done without thinking once it's learned. Okay? It's implicit. You need to know that they are, like tying your shoes is a perfect one. Putting on clothes. Hopefully you're not like, oh man, putting on a t-shirt is real tough. I don't remember how to do it. Hopefully you figured it out at this point. A declarative memory. Okay? Last page. A declarative memory is a type of long-term memory containing information that is conscious and known. It is something You went out of your way to learn. Something you went out of your way to learn. Ladies and gentlemen, you can raise their hand and tell me a fun fact that you went out of your way to learn. The human head weighs 8 pounds. I had to learn that. Someone had to teach me. Okay, what's another declarative memory we have? Camden? What's something you had to learn?
Epural.
Yeah, I do wrong all that bullshit in there. Yeah, for sure. You had to learn your format of your damn essays, and you probably cried in your book like these kids are. Kelly?
Does it have to be like a fact?
It's something you went out of your way to learn, Kelly.
It's like sports.
Okay, if you want to know, like for instance, I'm not smart enough to figure out tennis. Like I get it, but I don't understand it. Like I know they go back and forth and you have to score, like, but I just don't understand the system. Like I don't understand the point system. Yeah, I just don't get it. The love thing, I just don't get it. Why they call it love? Why some things are 15 points and others you have to be in by 2. I get it in a concept, but I still don't understand it. But I watch it because I love Serena Williams. So like I try, but like I just can't. I do not have a declarative memory for tennis. But football, your girl's got the rules down. And I can follow and I can explain and I am good. I understand the rules of football. I had to learn them because you can't live in my father's house and not know the rules of football. Even my father's gay son knows all the rules to football. What do you got?
Is learning a language?
Yeah, you had to go out of your way to learn it to a degree. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, how many dumb facts have you learned in school? Yeah, absolutely. How much of like content have you had to learn that you've never used? That's all declarative memories. That's it. That is everything. Literally, all of AP World is a declarative memory. You had to sit there and learn it, and now it's completely useless. Okay, so procedural memories. So they're non-declarative. Okay, so andrograde amnesia should be on there somewhere. Is it? I think it's on. You do need to know it's on your test. So underneath, and then you have a little bit of rimmer on your ivy or on your back. You need to know andrograde amnesia. Okay? It is when you lose memories going forward. Okay? Andrograde amnesia is you lose memories going forward. So you remember your past, but if you had a car accident today, it's 51st dates. Andrograde amnesia is 51st dates. So imagine you get into a car accident, knock on wood, this is not what I'm wishing for you, of course. If you get into a car accident today in school, okay? You will remember Smith Bennett, you will remember AP Psych, you will remember our time together, but you will never be able to retain your future children's name. You will never be able to remember your first date with your husband, wife, partner, whoever, because you can't retain any information. That's anterograde amnesia. Okay? So, you won't be able to form any new long-term memories. You will not be able to retain the name of your kids. Isn't that so sad? It's one thing to forget your past. Like, obviously that sucks, and it makes you who you are today. But, like, imagine if nothing you're learning, nothing you're doing is going to be retained. Like, what do you think your job future is going to look like? It's nothing. You can't learn new information. And do you think you learned enough in high school to get yourself a good functioning job? Not today. We'll not say. Okay, so you need to know that an implicit memory. I don't know why I always look over your shoulder.
Explicit versus implicit.
Okay, you need to know implicit versus explicit. Okay. An implicit memory. Do we have it on there?
Yeah.
It's on your focus. Perfect. An implicit memory is something is hard to recall. Like for instance, do you know exactly when you learned your favorite song? You don't have a favorite song? No, a song that's like, that is my jam. And you put it on and it's like, ah. And all your friends like lose their mind to it because like we're all in the same spot at the same time. Yeah. Cool. No, but there's like always like one. Always like one universal. Anyway, so an implicit memory is something that's not easily brought into conscious awareness. Like, Like for instance, what is your when did you learn how to drive your car? Tell me exactly when you figured out driving.
Actually,
No, I can't ever. Okay, my examples
that's
today
good.
suck. Okay.
The first time you wore a red shirt.
There you go. First time you wore a red shirt. Thank you, Camden Cumbrian. Okay, it's something that is not easily brought into conscious awareness. Then we have things that are called explicit memories. Explicit memories are memories that are consciously known. You remember. Ladies and gentlemen, you should remember your first kiss. Hello? Oh God, some of you are just like, you've never had one, and that makes me sad for you, right? Sorry, it does make me sad. You should have love in your life. Second of all, some of you are just cringing because it was just awful, I assume. Olivia looks physically nauseous by the memory of it. Okay. Explicit memories mean you remember the details. Okay? Mine, his name is Jeremy, and we were like 6 years old, and it was just like a little peck on the cheek. It wasn't like my real first kiss, but it was my first kiss.
That doesn't count then.
Fine. Then
What's
my
the
first kiss was Michael Ewick, okay? And I was freshman year of high school. He was so cute. He was a little skateboard boy. Oh my God, he was so cute. Yeah, he was a little skater boy, super cute. Anyway, good for me. He was so cute. It's fine, it didn't work out. My heart was broken. Okay, so explicit memories are things that are consciously known. Oh, you're trying to get ahead of me. I'm not there
Your
yet.
middle name.
Huh?
Like something. I'm trying to think of something like better than like that.
Why? Because you should remember, if you had your first kiss, can't you tell me where it was? I'm not trying to get in your business, but you should be able to tell me where it was, who it was with, maybe even what you were wearing. Would you say it was a cute outfit or not a cute outfit? Would you say it was a great moment or just pure embarrassment? You know, those types of things. Like, you should be able to recall most of the memory. That's why it's good explicit memory. Does that make sense? Okay.
So like
That's one of your greatest memories.
no, but this one makes nothing.
That's a weird one. How many times have you ridden your bike? I would think that would be.
Like the first time. Like the first
Oh, that was like a big deal.
Yeah, that's like a big.
Okay, I'm 32. That's not a big deal anymore. I've moved on. Okay, here we go. What? Like my first date with McCray. That's a memorable one. No, I'm moving forward. We got things to do. Semantic is a type of declarative memory that contains general knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, general knowledge is the key term here. It is facts we all know, but we don't know where we got it from. Semantic, which is on the top of your back page, by the way. Okay, maybe Kaylee's worse than me.
How does that?
No, it says semantic encoding, and I was gonna ask about
No,
this.
it's the same. Okay. Semantic is general knowledge, okay? That general knowledge information that we don't know where we picked it up, but we obviously picked it up. Like, how many tires does a car have?
4.
The answer is 4. If you were struggling on that, the answer is 4. How many tires does a motorcycle have? 2.
Yeah, there's
No, some those are
That's a truck. That's not a car.
Yes,
Oh
it
no,
is.
some trucks have double wheels.
Fine, that's a truck, not a car.
The truck is
If you call a person who drives a truck a car, they're going to, like for instance, fun fact, McCray almost got beat up yesterday, which is hilarious, which we giggled about all afternoon. So some guy, we were riding our bikes, so obviously we're super tough. And we were riding our bikes and some guy pulled into the intersection. McCray's like, what the hell? Because he almost hit McCray. And he's like, what the hell? Like, okay, he didn't say hell, but I think you could imagine what he said. Because he almost got hit. And the guy was like, what? And McCray's like, you almost hit me. And he's like, I'll get out of this car right now and beat you in front of your girl. And McCray was like, who are you? Like, I don't know how often you get threatened with violence. And McCray just, we just started, we just rode our little bikes by. This guy's, losing his shit in his car. I don't know why I told you that. But that happened yesterday. Okay. Semantic knowledge is general knowledge. You don't know explicitly who taught you 4 tires to a car, 2 tires to a motorcycle, but we all understand. Do you remember the teacher who taught you the sky is blue and the grass is green? No. That's semantic knowledge. We all have that information. We had to be taught that information. We just don't know where it came from. What?
What about, portables or-
It's procedural.
People still don't know.
What about, portables? Like, portables? Like, portables?
It's procedural.
Like, portables?
People still don't know. Episodic. Episodic is a type of declarative memory, so you remember all aspects of it, okay, that contains personal information. So keep in mind, okay, there's some overlap to some of these. And by the way, if you're thinking this is the hardest part of your test, it is. This is the hardest part about your test, is deciding what type of memory are things. So anything that is about your life is episodic. Like if I ask you, like, what was your Halloween costume last year? What was it, Connor?
I don't think I dressed up. No. I was a vampire.
You were a vampire?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, cool. What were you, Curtis?
I don't know, just like on black.
Wow, Curtis. We all see how excited that is. You were what?
Oh shoot! No, I'm just
Last
kidding.
year
I was wearing a
was good.
onesie last year. Sorry.
Clearly not a good memory, but fine. Episodic is things that are about your life, okay? If I ask you, what did you do this weekend, Luke? What was the best part of your weekend? Did you sleep in at least? Where do you work? Where? What is that?
David's World of Cycling.
Oh, like you know,
Let's check the
Oh, that's awesome, man. I know spend tons of money. I don't think at your store, but he's obsessed. Episodic. So that is all of like your daily activities and stuff like that. There are all the things about your life. What can?
So what an episodic. Okay, wait. You just confused me with like the first date story, like first date.
Yeah.
Story. Would that
It
be
can fall under
episodic?
both because it's technically a declarative memory, right? So you remember all the aspects of it. And episodic memory is a declarative memory.
So what happens if we get something like that on the test and they give you a semantic and
They
episodic?
won't. This has been multiple times. I know how to set it up.
All in just a day.
Nah. Alright, here we go. Take out your whiteboards. Let me test you on your knowledge. Oh my god, aren't we better with practicing these skills than not practicing these skills? Here we go. What is it called? If I cannot recall anything from this point forward after a bad accident. Huh? Like if McCray got beat up by this really awful dude we met yesterday.
Was he scared?
Well, he was driving a souped-up Chevy, and he was like in his mid 50s, and it's kind of like, dude, like you spent too much money on a shit car. You know what I
Was
mean?
McCray really gonna get beat up by him? Though?
Yeah, he threatened, and he was starting to get out of the
No,
car.
but I'm
but
saying,
then the
like,
light changed.
do you think McCray could have taken it?
McCray's not what I would call
I
a
don't
fighter.
think McKay-
Yeah, McCray isn't really one to punch back. So I'm pretty sure he could have got his butt beat. It would have been hilarious.
Never expected it.
And he was not going to defend. And McCray Bennett is not who I depend on to defend my honor, is what I'm saying. Like, if I'm going to talk shit, it's because I can defend myself. If I can't defend myself, I don't talk shit. But this guy was a little. Woo. What do you got, Annie? Anterograde amnesia. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is a type of long-term memory containing information that is conscious and known? It is a large category. It is an overview category. There, I got 1, 2. What is it, Sophia? Declarative. What do we call memories that tell us how to do things? Like, for instance, I know I can boil pasta because I do this first. I take out a pot, then I fill it with water, then I put it on the stove, make sure it has enough water in it. What do you got, Kaylee? Procedural. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is I know that cats and dogs both have 4 legs and a tail. I don't know who taught me that, but I know, and everyone in this room knows, that a cat has 4 legs and a tail, and a dog has 4 legs and a tail. Emily? Semantic memory. I remember my parents, never mind, that's not a memory I'm going to share. I remember my first real date with McCray. We went to dinner. It wasn't. It's not the real memory. What do you got, Kate? Episodic. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is this category called when a memory is consciously known? Like, I know all the details of it. I can tell you what I was wearing. I can tell you what I looked like. I can tell you where we were, what we were doing. What is it, Corinne? Explicit. What do you got?
Okay, so for that last one, you used the example of your first date with your parents.
Yeah, it's both episodic and it's declarative.
You said explicit.
You can use explicit too.
Yeah,
They're
so
overlapped.
that's what I was
Guys,
thinking
this
about.
is like, hi. I would maybe write this down on the back of your paper. I think it'll add some clarity to this. Would this help? Camden? Camden's been complaining about this from the beginning. So, your long-term memory is broken up into two major sections, declarative and procedural. Okay, I would maybe, you have a whole back of your thing as well. So, your long-term memory is broken up into declarative, also known as explicit. Are we having fun with memory yet?
Oh wait, declarative is explicit.
Yes, they're the same thing, they're interchangeable. Okay? Then you have procedural, which are implicit memories. So things you do without thinking. Like for instance, if I asked you the last time you tied shoes, okay, it's more of a thing for me because I wear Toms all the time. So if I asked when was the last time I wore shoes, I guess it was at the gym this morning. But like I don't really think about it. Now, if McCray and I ever have a kid, guess what I'm gonna have to learn how to do?
Tie shoes.
I'm gonna have to learn to teach someone to tie their own damn shoes. You have to
do
come
it
up with a little
first.
song and help remind them. Like, I'm just gonna put the kid in Toms too.
And they're gonna show up to high school and not know how to tie shoes.
Well, eventually they'll have to figure it out because our kid's gonna be somewhat athletic. Not like talented athletic, but like it's not a couple of lots. Judgy. I used to be
No,
athletic.
no,
Like,
same
you're
going
saying
to.
you're-
Yeah,
you're
you
saying
will.
you're gonna Gross. Okay, so procedural memories are motor skills, habits, classically conditioned reflexes. These are things you do without thinking, and that's what I would absolutely write next to procedural. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't really think about brushing your teeth. You're not like, okay, up, down, wiggle it around, up, down, wiggle it around, up, down, wiggle it around. Okay, it is not things you think about. That's what makes it procedural. Okay, going to the declarative side, also known as explicit. Okay, you have two major categories: episodic, which are events experienced by that person. Which ones do you think you know better, episodic or semantic? Episodic, people. Yes, you should know things that happen to you better. Anyone who knows like a book better than their own lives, that's so sad. I think it's good for you, but like sad. Okay, so semantic are facts or general knowledge that you had to memorize in school. I would write school facts next to it. Anything that you are forced to learn, that is semantic knowledge. Does this help? Yeah. Sure, we feel better about it? It's a lot of content. Cool, are we done?
No. If
What?
declarative and explicit are the same thing, why are they two different boxes?
Because they're annoying.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I knew that had a girl. Mine is down. Up, yours too.
It's on the
Alright, here we go. So, long-term memory is broken into your semantic network model. Is that on there? I think it's on the front, isn't it? Is it semantic encoding? Yeah, that's it. Okay. It's a model of memory organization that assumes that information is stored in the brain, but in a connected fashion. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I say one thing, it'll trigger a memory for something else. Peanut butter?
jelly.
Yeah, that's semantic network model in place. If I say hot dogs and yeah, you bad American.
I want him to say jelly again.
Apparently, people put peanut butter on their hot dogs. Apparently, that's the thing.
Peanut butter and Oreos.
Oh, of course, but yeah. Anyway, so semantic network says that we closely tie certain things together that makes it easier for us to remember things. So, how many of you think it's easier to think about psychology while sitting in my room? It's easier to recall information in my room than if you're sitting at your math classroom. Okay? That is semantic network modeling. Is when we mix things together and it helps us remember information that things are connected. Like for instance, when I teach the American Revolution, I try to show, I try to show the connectiveness in history. These people aren't happening in isolated events. Like we talk about George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and I try to show the relationship to make it easier for you to remember. What time do we leave? 33. Shit, really? 10 minutes. Okay. Well, because I'm leaving today. 8 periods on our own. What a terrible day for me not to be here. Oh. Sucks. Everything's on fire. Everything is in flames.
I thought about April World right now.
It is April. We're writing week of writing a CCOT today. And Alexis will tell you they look panicked when they left the room. Miserable. Charles will tell you, don't they look miserable all the time in here? Yep, there's no joy. But they keep coming back.
You want them to leave?
Yes. Drop the class. I'll happily pick up a study hall. Yes! Thank you all sucks. Alright. Huh? Whatever. Don't even get started. Okay. So, use tab, remember, we have things called retrieval cues. I use them all the time. Okay? A retrieval cue is what we use to help ourselves. So, like if I said the word starts, if I'm trying to get you to remember chunking, okay, I'll say, oh, it's when you have numbers close to each other. Okay? And they're kind of grouped separately. You'll remember chunking. Okay? Encoding efficiency, specificity, is the tendency of memory and information to be improved if the surroundings when the memory is first created. Okay? So if you're sitting in AP Psychology, it should be easier for you to recall AP Psychology in my room. It's also known as state-dependent learning. I don't think that's on there. Okay, recall. Here we go. That is on your papers somewhere. Moving on your focus. Okay, you can also put in the retrieval box though. Retrieval and recall are the same thing. Retrieval / recall. You may want to write recall in there as well. Okay, so it is when one memory is being pulled with very few external calls. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you are able to pull out a person's name, that's recall. Like today, I had a recall fail. I couldn't remember one of my girls' names today. Her name is Penny. I called her Maggie. It is so embarrassing. But like my brain was hurting and I was in like some really deep shit, so like it was fine. She got it. Like we were in Mongols, like it was awful. Okay, a retrieval failure is what I had today when I cannot recall someone's name. Raise your hand if you've had a retrieval failure. Where you know something and you're like, ah shit, what is it? And you cannot come up with it. It happens to me all the time when we talk movies. Like, oh my god, it's that movie. You know, the movie with the dude and like the chick. And they're like doing this. And McCrae's like, what are you talking about? And I'm just like, it's a thing. Okay, tip of tongue phenomenon, okay, is a retrieval error. When you're like, oh my god, I know this, I know this, I know this. And you're like, it doesn't come. Okay, serial position effect has to be on there.
It is.
Okay, where is it? Second page? Yeah, second page. Okay, serial position effect is the tendency for information at the beginning and the end of information to be remembered. Ladies and gentlemen, who is the first president of the United States?
George Washington.
Second.
John Adams.
Third.
Thomas Jefferson.
Fourth.
John Quincy Adams.
No.
Yeah.
Madison.
Oh, what's the
Yeah.
first? That he was the fifth.
Monroe. No, he's not. Quincy. Quincy's like seven.
I quit after.
I have a friend that goes.
You were really passionate for the first couple.
Oh, I really like you.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, every single one of you should be able to tell me the first at least 3 presidents. Can we agree? You should be able to tell me the last 3 presidents as well. Trump's the most, obviously he's president today. Obama, then W. Clinton's in front of him, and then we have H. Bush. W.H. Bush. Okay, so recall. Now, if I ask you what number is Lincoln, okay, you should know that one. If I ask you which one Hoover is, 29, by the way. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, zero position of fact. It is easier to remember things in the beginning. Like, for instance, if your mom sends you to the store the grocery list, you'll probably remember the first couple items and the last couple items, but then, gets a little loose in the middle. Can we agree? So, grocery list is perfect. So, there's also a thing called primacy effect, when you remember only the first things. And then we have recency effect, when you only remember the end. You should put that in your box. Primacy is you only remember the first things. Anyone that person who only remembers the first couple things? No one? We all have perfect memories? I'm a last person. I always remember the end of something. Like, I never remember how a movie starts, but I can definitely tell you how it ends. Yeah, I can never. Like a book, I can't tell you how the first Harry Potter book started. But I can tell you how the first book ended.
The beginning of Harry Potter is pretty good.
The beginning of Harry Potter is
Isn't
pretty
it
good.
when the parents get killed? No.
No.
Yeah, but then it's like how he like
It's when
grows up.
Hagrid shows. No, it's when
No, it's
Dumbledore
like-
shows up and brings the baby to the door.
Yeah,
right?
but first it like explains how he's like bullied in the house. Like it's a big story.
like that's interesting.
That's fine. I'm
Like,
saying
it's
I have a
important
problem.
for
Come on,
character
come
development.
on. Okay, here we go. There's a bunch of people dancing outside my room. It's very strange.
Go tell him to stop. You're a teacher.
I just really don't want to be involved. They're not very good. Okay, recognition is the ability to match a piece of information and stored to a fact.
We don't have to put it
Fine. Okay, we do a lot of false positives. Eyewitness testimonies are terrible and they're unreliable and they're absolutely crappy, and the fact that our judicial system still relies on them is ridiculous because we have factual evidence that has been proven over and over and over again that says they should not be used. So, fun fact. Okay, automatic encoding. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, automatic processing is on your focus. It is a tendency of certain kinds of information to enter long-term memory with little or no ethical processing. What is something that is really easy for you to remember, Maggie? Like, I'm talking music lyrics, recipes, I'm talking sports information, I'm talking like pop culture stuff. What is something that's easy for you to remember?
How to make chocolate chip cookies?
Yes, girl, that's a skill. Hell yeah. So you're a baker?
No, but
You know that one.
Yeah.
All right. What is easy for you to remember, Sydney?
oh yeah, like it's answers.
There you go. I couldn't do that if I tried. Well, I literally forget the first. I gotta remember the first couple and then nothing after. Okay. Automatic encoding. Julissa, what are you good at remembering? Song lyric. Everything's on fire. Everything sucks. Okay, song lyrics. My husband is stand-up comedy. That's what he memorizes for fun.
So
He
if he
loves
like just showed up one day, he could just like something.
If he's like, oh my god, just remember it reminds me of blah blah blah. And then I'll go on to like a long about thing. Yeah. It's so annoying. Bye guys, have a good day. We got a lot done, would you agree?
Yeah.
We have a lot to do tomorrow because we're testing on Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you spend time working on your outline because your outline is 40 pages. See ya.